afternoon and welcome to my podcast. This isn't a normal podcast for myself because I'm joined today by my sister Angie, and we are currently on holiday in the north of Scotland. So we decided to do a podcast in which we could share what we've brought with us, what we've been working on, and just have a chat so you could see the beautiful scenery in the background. It's really weird. Every time we move, the light changes. So we do apologise in advance.
There, you can see it now.
There you go. And sit back in. Mm-hmm. My name's Vykky McIntosh and I am the indie dyer behind WGLYVykky Yarns, and you can find me on Instagram under WGLYVykky Yarns. You can find me on Ravelry under WGLYVykky. All the details will be below on the show notes, and you can also find me on Facebook where I have my Facebook group, and also my Knit and Natter. So welcome.
Hi, I'm Angie. You can find me on Instagram as Anyalulu22. And I also have another account, which is my business account for my bags, and that is the Urban Stitcher.
Ravelry?
Oh, and I'm on Ravelry as Anyalulu too.
Angie's got a fabulous Ravelry account, and this is the first time we've done a podcast together, and we've already recorded it.
We've done one recording.
We've already done one recording, and we've lost it.
It's gone somewhere into cyberspace.
So take two.
So
today we just decided there's 5 of us in our party, and I feel very Pride and Prejudice when I say that. The boys are off golfing today, and they've been golfing and fishing, and we have been here in our beautiful house that we rent off a friend. Like I say, we are how many miles from John O'Groats?
I think it's about 6 miles.
About 6 miles. My husband comes from nearby. So we come up quite a lot, but we've rented this house and it is beautiful. We're right on the beach, and it's been quite busy. The weather, we came up north and just to get away from the heat down south, it was awful, and we've really enjoyed it up here. It's been about 14 to 15 degrees, but even yesterday it was really lovely.
Yeah, we've had a couple of warm days where it's hit 18.
Yeah, like on Saturday, we had a family round on the deck. How posh does that sound? And Granny nearly got burnt. We had to bring her in. So, but we're up here and we've been having a fabulous time. We've sort of set ourselves little challenges, and we just want to share with you what we've been doing. So, we're going to split it into knitting and sewing, and I'm going to talk a bit about spinning and weaving. So we're going to talk about our knitting, and we're going to do
finished object.
Yeah, Angie's got a finished object. I've got a hoe. And we have got, it wouldn't be the same. Ching, ching. I'm on the Pinot Noir.
I'm on the Portuguese Rosé.
And we'd like to tell you that it's gone over the yard arm.
Yeah, it's gone new. Well,
somewhere in the world.
Somewhere in the world. It's 11:54 in the UK, but it's 12:54 in Europe.
Yes, and we're abroad. We're in Scotland. So, you going to go first?
You go first.
Okay,
it's your podcast. I'm your guest.
I don't have a finished object. I have a hoe. So, if you've been following my stories just recently, it's been mega busy at the new studio, so I'd like to thank you all for every one of you that have placed an order. But with that, I have really lost my knitting mojo until I was watching Wollonvine's podcast. Excuse me. And she showed me this pair of socks that she was working on, and I just fell in love with them. Literally, one, I love the designer. And 2, the pattern just looked so interesting. So my hoe, and I finished it on, for those of you that don't know what a hoe is, it's a half finish object. And I haven't got enough socks, so I decided I'd cast these on straight away, and they are the Dreaming of Paris socks by Locatelli. And Kristen on Wollonvine podcast is doing them in very similar colours, but if you know me, and this is a little bit of a backstory about me and Angie, is that we are completely polar opposites, aren't we?
For colours.
For colour. I love really neutral colours, and you'll see in a minute, Angie loves really, really bright colours. So I
do like some colours the same.
Certain ones.
Some moody colours.
But if we're in a wool shop, you're always
I will gravitate to the bright colours.
The bright colours.
Yeah.
So this is the colour that Hohi did it. And the story behind it, I think she was missing travelling, dreaming of Paris. I think she'd been there with her husband, hadn't she? So I cast them on, and my hoe is my sock. And as you can see, it's very me. I'm using Nougat. I'll get you the wool. Can you hold that up for me, Ange?
It's gorgeous, Vykky.
So I'm using, this camera's back to front. I'm using Nougat in BFL, my Wiggly BFL, and it's a lovely beige colour. And then this is blowing it out. Oh my God, I sound like a proper podcaster.
It is blowing it out. It's actually, this is the more true colour. Oh, where's it gone? That's the true colour.
So this is Blush, which is one of my first ever colours I ever dyed up. And this is on my MCN base. And I'm actually using two different bases, but they're going together really well. But this, it's not my MCN.
No, it's the...
It's my new Wiggly Bouncy sock. I wanted to call it Plumpy sock, but other dyers say it. And it's 85-15 merino and nylon. And the reason I keep calling it MCN is because it feels like MCN. It is so lush. And together with the BFL, it's quite a good fabric, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Really bouncy.
Really bouncy.
Very soft.
So I've cast on the larger size because I want them to be quite slouchy. I'm not going to bring my foot up and try them on. I want them quite slouchy, and I want this bit above my ankle boots. And these are so lovely. I sort of did that much in an evening because there's quite a lot to keep you interested. So it's a 2x2 rib. I've done 72 stitches. Then a few rows, and then you go into this beautiful, I think, I'm not going to give too much away because of copyright, I think it's about 38 rounds 19 rounds of pattern. It's absolutely beautiful. And because it's a sock, you don't have to sort of really remember a lot of it because you're going whizzing round. And then in the pattern, he says to alternate your colours by stranding up, but I'm actually using the Helicial method, which I'm finding really, really good. And what I did is on any sock pattern that I have, I never ever do the heel flap and gusset.
Yeah.
Because I'm a left-handed knitter, I just struggle with following patterns to do it. So I always do a fish kiss lip heel. And
I do like short row heels though.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And then what I do to avoid the hole, so basically on the Helicial knitting, sorry, I'm jumping around, it got to the right length for me to start the heel, and the stitch marker was at the beginning of the round. And I don't know if that was just how it worked out. So basically I did one round, did my fish kiss lip heel, and then completed the rest of the round in the Nougat. And then to stop the holes on the fish kiss lip heel, fish kiss lip?
Yep.
Yeah. When I go to knit all the way round, I pick up, so you've got your stitches there and then you've got your leg in between. I pick the leg up with that first stitch, knit them together, and it closes the hole. Really, really pleased, so much so that I've already cast on the second sock, and I did this in an afternoon. It does look quite big, but it's a really good fit on me. But like I say, it does come in two sizes, and I would heartily recommend this pattern to anybody. I'm actually thinking of doing one in a navy blue and a Mr. Bingley blue, which is
Oh, that'd look really good.
I think that would look really,
really
lovely.
Really nice.
So that's my hoe. I don't have any finished objects because I haven't been knitting. Over to you, sis.
Okay, so I had placed an order for a yarn kit from Olan for the Fernway Shawl by Susu Knits.
Fernway.
Fernway.
It's about home, isn't it? It's
yeah,
about
FERNWEH. Anyway, it didn't come in time, which is no fault of any, it's just the COVID, postal, etc., etc. So
there was two choices, wasn't there?
There was two choices. So obviously, coming away on holiday, the priority was to pack first all the projects.
Always.
Thankfully, DHL, what a nightmare that was, delivered my Hohi bag.
The bag to bring all the projects up.
Oh, this bag is absolutely amazing. It's a big boxed tote in beautiful leather. It's got 2 pockets inside. It's got a pocket on the outside. And then it's got 2 on the front. It's got these beautiful, sturdy, evenly stitched, we have to say.
Yeah, the attention to detail, because I've got OCD, the fact that they are exactly the same. It's little things like that when I get something really knock me. But it is so beautiful. Hohi, really hope you're watching, but it is stunning. Beautiful. Unfortunately, my rose gold metallic didn't arrive back in time, which we were very disappointed.
So, got all projects sorted out, and I cast on the Cinnabar shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I used...
When did you cast that on?
A couple of days before we came away, because I thought it'd be really good for the car, because it is a long drive. We split the journey up. We stopped over in Perth. Mega thunderstorm, frightening. So we had 4 hours.
Tuesday,
yeah, last Tuesday. So we had 4 hours, 5 hours, and then we stayed overnight in Perth, and then we drove up, and that was another 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, it said 5.5.
Yeah.
We came up in 2 cars, by the way, because all the boys had to bring, our husbands and my son had to bring their golf and their fishing, and obviously we were limited to room, but you bought...
I bought a lot. So, this is the Cinnabar shawl.
Beautiful.
So, I used Skein Queen. The dark colour is Abyss. The white colour is Snowfield. And I get most of my Skein Queen from Rachel of Tangled Yarn. And what I loved about this pattern is it's quite similar actually to a Skew Me shawl.
Who's that
by Stephen West. It's not like it. The construction is similar. I don't mean there's any,
infringement.
Yeah, there's nothing like that because it is completely different. But you have a spine that goes to the side. And I actually knitted this on 4mm needle. The pattern says 4.5. It's double knit, and it has this striping effect. Now, in the pattern, she uses spin cycle, but I wanted to use yarn that I already had. I didn't really want to go and purchase any more. And then I knew that I had these colours, and I just thought it's going to look really, really cool in the contrast, because the pattern has what they call syncopation.
Syncopation.
So where you would normally do your bark stitches in brioche, your brioche bark, you will then switch it out. Oh, you can't really see it here actually.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a purl there. Then you switch it and you do a knit. And then likewise the other way round. And that's what causes this striping effect. The only thing, and I have put my Ravelry notes. I put it all on my Ravelry notes, and I'm definitely going to knit this again, without a shadow of a doubt, because it is a really, really lovely pattern. Is when it changes on the syncopation. I'm really struggling with this. Which way am I going? Other way.
Yeah. Syncopation is just
when
you change it, and it's
you
just
just
for a
swap
feature.
it over. Yeah, you just swap it over for a feature. So on the spine, where it changes, where you switch over from the pearl, it breaks the spine. Where is it? Oh, good Lord. I'm having a bit of a mousse here. Which way am I going?
You're going...
Can you see it? Oh, there. So where you've got this really lovely white line, this camera's back to front. So where you've got this lovely spine of the white line,
the brioche.
Yeah, the brioche spine, it breaks. And when you flip it on the other side, where you've got the reverse spine, it puts the... Oh, Leah.
No, it's
I've
here.
only had 2 sips.
It's here.
Yeah, so what happens is...
No, it's here.
Yeah, so then you get the knit stitch.
It's between the brioche... It's the brioche and the garter on syncopation.
And I think what I'd like is it to be consistent.
So it's like a... Sorry, Angie. It's like a recess, and then you've got those sitting proud. And you'd like those to be...
I'd like it to have the white line all the way down.
Yeah.
Now, I can do basic brioche. I can do the increases and the decreases.
Please don't say you're not a brioche expert, because you...
Well, I don't think I am a brioche expert.
You can do it without looking.
I can do it without looking, but I don't know whether on the increase you could knit the first stitch and then purl because you do a bark, a yarn over a bark, or a burp, a yarn over a burp. I don't know whether you can mix those two up. So I'm going to have a little practice, because if I can do that, I'm definitely going to knit this again, because it is and it is massive. And I knitted this on a 4mm needle, and the pattern is a 4.5.
But if any of you have done it,
or if anybody knows how you can switch it out. It's a beautiful pattern. It's so clear. It's really, really well written. Andrea's patterns are amazing. It's just that one little thing. And to be honest, I don't think you'd even see it when it's on. It's just, for me, it's my eye, because I can see it. And I think it's because I saw it straight away. And at the beginning, I didn't realise there was syncopation in it, because I thought it was just where she'd used the spin cycle. And of course, I got going and I knitted past it, and then I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting the stripy bit. And then I realised when I reread it, so I had to tink it back, which with brioche is a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But it's a really lovely pattern, and I really, really do highly recommend it.
It's so beautiful.
It's really big.
And it's squishy.
And what I love as well is the effect that where you are knitting...
See, I think the syncopation is better. You can see it more there.
Yeah, than on the other side.
But this is
That's basically what they're calling the right side.
I didn't know until... I've been on a brioche course, but I'm not as... it's something that I've tried, and I did the Stephen West Mystery cowl, did the whole centre panel, dropped some stitches in brioche, and then just thought, no, I'm not going to do it. But I just recently found Sosu's tutorials on, so it's the designer of the Fenway shawl. She has got some fabulous tutorials on YouTube, and what I'm going to do, is I'm going to do a practice.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
And do a hat, and then practice increasing and decreasing.
Cowls are good to practice on as well.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is I never realised, and she explained it, that when you do brioche, it's always best to have a light on a dark as the right side, rather than a dark on a light.
But I think as well...
And that's helped me, because I always seem to choose the wrong colours for my brioche.
But what's really good about this as well is because the Snowfield is so speckled, And it is predominantly white, but the colours, it's sort of like, it's giving it sort of like a little splodgy effects, which is just really lovely. But also...
It's very muted for you, Ange.
Yeah, but also, because when you're knitting and you're sliding, this effect here is just stunning. I mean, I think it would look really lovely in... You could just do a nice shawl.
A cowl would look nice.
A cowl in it. And it's just knit in pearl. That's not the brioche. That's just a knit and pearl combination where you're knitting with one colour and then you knit with one, pearl, and then knit. And it gives that this lovely mottled effect. But it is a really, really, it's just amazing. I love it, love it. And as soon as I cast off, I very nearly thought, should I cast on another one? Because I have got extra wool with me. Because one can never have enough.
No, but the thing is that that's really nice. When you get, I did Andrea Mowry's Wildwood, and I've never ever done a shawl that I wanted to cast on again.
Yeah, I
would definitely cast that on again. Yeah. But I think that would, you know, I want to do the Fenway, and I was going to order the yarn off Olan, and it was ready to ship because I love Jess's wool. I think she's very talented. Obviously, she's just got her new mill. But I hesitated, and then when I went to order it, it was on pre-order, and I knew I wouldn't get it in time. Yeah. So
I mean, it's I think I used three and a bit of the main, and then 2 of the Snowfield. But I won't know. I need to work it out.
So it's 5 skeins.
Yeah, and it needs to be blocked, but it's big.
But you're not going to heavy block it. Though.
I'm not going to heavy block it. I'm just going to do a gentle block on it.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really pleased with it, and I've got some other yarn at home that I'm thinking that would look really, really nice as one, because you can never have enough shawls.
Well, you must have loads. Angie wears loads of shawls. I'm not really. I'm a shawl like Angie's wearing this shawl. I'm a. Those of you that know me, I'm a little house on the prairie. Wrap it round, go out. You know, I like those sort of shawls. Should we talk about whips? Whips. Okay, so I don't have my whip on me.
I
don't have it on me. I'm going to leave it.
I've dropped it.
I'm doing the Habitation throw. I've been putting it on Instagram. I'm loving it. It's upstairs. I'm not going to go and get it. Sorry, I'll show you next time. I used. All I keep saying is I knitted it. I was working on it when I came up in the car because I get travel sick if I'm doing socks in the car. But with the Habitation throw, going back and forward, it's for my granddaughter. I'm absolutely loving it, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. I'm really sorry about the light here because it keeps going light and dark, but there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing.
This is the best place to do it.
We were going to do it the other way round, but you would have got a picture of the kitchen hob, and we didn't think that was very conducive. Yeah. So please bear with us. Right, what's your...
So I cast on another Fleur, which is the pattern by Espace tricot. It's...
Are we going to be talking about pert bobbles again?
Yeah, pert bobbles. So it's... Oh, wrong side. Back to front this thing.
I know, it's really annoying.
They do it in double knitting and mohair. I cannot knit with mohair. It's like scraping your nails on a blackboard.
What you like with suri though? Same. See, I can't do suri.
It is a texture thing. So I've knitted quite a few of these. If you do follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I've done quite a few. And one of the reasons that I did do quite a lot of them is what I discovered, and maybe other people are like this, that I go to a show, I see the yarn, I buy the yarn.
No.
I do. And sometimes you're only using part of it. And what I've realised is I'm drawn to the colours in the skein of yarn. And I just think I'm not using enough of the skeins to show that fabric, to show those colours off. And this pattern works perfectly.
Can you have a drink of your wine? Because I've had about 4.
I'll have a drink of my wine.
Making me feel like an ad kill. Oh.
So this pattern is a really lovely heart shape, and I love heart shapes. So I didn't use any mohair in any of the ones that I've done. I have done some coloured ones where I've used a different colour, but I had purchased some gradient yarn off Wool Elf. She's based in Germany.
Wool Elf.
Wool Elf, yeah.
Okay.
And this is in...
All these details we've put at the bottom in the show notes.
This colour is
like
the Blue Dragon. Sorry, Black Dragon. So it comes in a massive cake. So this is...
she specialises in gradient yarn.
Yeah, she specialises in gradient yarn. So this comes in a massive cake. And so there's no joins. And it goes from light to dark. Although you could do it from dark to light. I always work from the middle of the ball when I'm working with a cake. Cake. Oh, we haven't got any cakes, have we? No. Anyway,
we haven't got any food. We've been left out here. They've all gone off golfing and left us without a car.
So I cast on another one. The only difference that I'm doing is obviously because I'm not using mohair, and you can just start to see that it's starting to come into another colour now.
Yeah, just
very gradually.
That bit there.
Is that where the mohair rows are, I've just purled back, and again where the bobbles are, I've just, after I've completed the bobble row, I'm just purling back.
Can we talk about the bubble?
The bobbles. The first time I did it, I struggled. I couldn't understand. I was getting a floppy bobble and a hole on the either side, which I've now discovered is natural. You will get a little tiny hole. But the technique that they use is that you...
Are you allowed to say?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to anyway.
Okay.
Because it's important if you're a bobble maker.
Oh, it's going to be on your Ravelry notes
It's
anyway,
on my Ravelry notes anyway. So, basically, once you've completed and you've created your bobble, you have to take the stitch off the needle. And then you wrap the yarn around. And at first, I couldn't understand why you were doing that. And I will put my hand up and admit, I thought, I'm not doing that. I'm going to carry on. Which resulted in a row of very floppy bobbles.
Nothing worse than a floppy bobble.
So I tinked them back and thought, I'm going to go with what the pattern says. I do not know better. And when you take...
You thought you did, though.
Yeah, I did, but everybody does that. You always think you better. Well, no, you don't. No. Anyway, so stop interrupting. You've done this loads of times. I haven't. I'm in my flow. So
you did really well.
As I was saying, so what I did is you create your bobble, you take the bobble off you take the stitch off the needle, and then you wrap it round. And by wrapping it round, it sort of like tightens it. So you end up with a really pert bobble. It's like a little nipple.
That's really good.
And it just sticks up. So that's the only thing I'm changing. I'm just not using mohair, and I'm using a pearl on the back, so it gives it a little bit of texture. And I'm going to make this one a bit bigger because I really want to get the blue, that really lovely dark colour.
Is that actually blue? It looks blue on there, but it looks black here. Blue, black, yeah.
But Wool Elf, I've used her yarn quite a lot actually. In the earlier days I did for shawls, like shawlettes. And the colours that she does is just phenomenal. And what I really love is the fact that that's 3 skeins of yarn in one ball.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier on the previous one that we lost, about how to dye a gradient, because as a dyer, I would look at that and think, I've got to put it into a cake. I've got to, there's one way where you put the cake in the pan, you put the dye on the outside and it soaks in, and as it soaks through the cake, it gets less and less in the middle. But then when you take it out, you've got a soggy cake which you have to then squeeze out, and then we were saying, how do you dry it? But then we've realised that the wool has a slight kink to it.
So we think it's on a blank.
We think she's done it on a blank, and obviously that's her prerogative. Everybody's got their techniques and not to reveal them. There's a lot of YouTube videos on it, and do it on a blank, dye it, paint it, and then wind it up after.
Yeah.
There is one thing that Angie, I've just realised, which is a really good tip that Angie told me on her Cinnabar shawl.
Yeah.
That we've forgotten to talk about, and it's on the edging with the stretchy bind off.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to get it out again and show? Because for those of all of us that do shawls, when we do a stretchy bind off, it will it just hangs. It's got like a funny look to it. But Angie found this technique, which I'll let her tell you about.
To be honest, I think it was on a Jennifer Steingass jumper pattern, and I couldn't understand why you would do it until I cast off, and I just loved the effect that it gave, and I do it now on all my shawls. So basically, when you do a normal bind off, your little V's here will just sit flat. They'll be pointing down,
and they're quite curly, aren't they?
And sometimes they can be quite curly. And what you do is when you get to the row before your bind off, and it has to be on the wrong side row, is you purl. So you'll purl the row back, so you're on your right side ready to bind off. And when you do the bind off, it flips it.
Turn it the other way.
So you get...
Turn it that way, and then it's better. No,
which way?
That way, because that's the effect.
Oh yeah. So it lays...
Like
facing
there.
out.
Like there.
So you get this really lovely, you'll get your edging, and then this bit points outwards instead of
it looks like
pointing,
a flat chain stitch.
It looks like a flat chain stitch, yeah, and it's just a lovely effect. And it's also still gives you enough stretch, because I do the stretchy bind off, but I'm not getting the flare that I get if I just did a normal, if I do a stretchy bind off. Yeah,
because usually you would have it like that, and then the chain is on the edge.
Yeah.
And what this is doing is it's sitting...
It's curling it in slightly.
And giving it a lovely...
And it gives it this lovely chained edging.
It actually looks like it's got like a little bit of bias binding on it, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
And you can't see the pearl stitch, even when you block it.
It's so pretty.
It just curls it up slightly, and it just gives it a really lovely edging.
Gorgeous.
Really
Sorry,
lovely.
Angie, I just wanted
that's
to...
fine. That's fine.
So that's your only whip at the moment, up here.
Up here.
Do you have any whips at home?
No.
The only one I've got at home is my Brigitte cardigan, which I'm doing in Scottish lamb's wool, in a grey and a maroon. I got inspired by Laurie on Instagram. And I haven't worked on it all summer because it is pure Scottish lamb's wool. It's beautiful. There's a shop in Dunnett, and we'll come to that in a minute, that sells it. And it was £5 a skein. And I made the cardigan. I'm making the cardigan for about £35, but it's too thick to knit in the summer. It's just...
I do have a jumper on the go. I've done a Felix in double knit.
Right, okay.
Which the only modification is I actually use my petite knit raglan jumper, but I follow the Felix increases for the lace effect on the shoulders. Obviously make them a little bit longer, but I've got them all on my Ravelry. I put all my notes on my Ravelry.
Well, I've got, my whips at the moment are this. I'm a monogamous knitter normally, and then I got into a bit of a panic just recently because I had a lot on my needles. I've got my Brigitte cardigan, this. I've got my forest hap, which I'm doing in Stephen West wool. So that's our work in progress. Acquisitions, obviously your Olan.
I can't wait. It's at the post office.
Yeah, mine is I bought a Hohi rose gold bag, which I really wanted for my holiday, and it didn't turn up in time.
Turned up the next day, didn't it?
Turned up the next day, the day that I was here, which was a bit annoying. And the only other acquisition is so Angie and I, background, we were taught dressmaking by our mum. We're prolific sewers. We're knitters, quilters. And then I've taken up spinning since February. I've got an e-spinner, which I absolutely love. And then 3 years ago, 3 years ago, we bought ourselves each a loom from Weft Blown at Yarndale, and I love it. Angie sold hers.
Wasn't for me.
No staying power. Did you warp it once?
I warped it twice. Just wasn't for me.
So
I didn't see the progress quick enough.
No, but for me, I've gone down I'm weaving cloth, making them, Angie, I need to share it on my Instagram, but it all happened just before I came away. I've woven some cloth and Angie's made some beautiful bags for me, one of which is going in the shop. So it's hand spun, hand woven, and Angie's made it. So we were in Dunnett the other day because it's a town that my husband and I really, really love up in Scotland. It's about an hour away from Dunnett. And there's 2 yarn stores there, not traditional yarn stores like Loop or Yak or anything like that.
It sells like the Scottish tweed fabric, blankets.
But
it's beautiful.
But they do the Scottish lamb's wool that I was talking about, that I'm making into my Bergère cardigan, and it's like £5 for 100 grams. The lady said it was Aran, but it was 260 metres, wasn't it?
It was 235 metres.
Sorry, 235.
I think it's more of a DK.
Yeah, which is getting me a bit worried now.
Or a heavy DK, but I don't think it's Aran weight.
No, because I've made my Bergère cardigan off the top of my head. I think it is, I'll pop the details here. It's a beautiful steeked cardigan, and I think I've made it in the Aran, which is making me a bit worried now if it's in double knitting.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I did a swatch, because at the moment I'm not knitting any more jumpers because I just want to come off jumpers for a while, and I'm sure I did a swatch. Anyway, this shop sells little cakes of yarn for £5. It's such good value. It's very stiff when you're knitting it, but as soon as you wash it, it goes beautifully soft. But anyway, behind the shop, so behind the street behind, is like a little Nicki knack shop, and I picked up for my spinning some of Alison's alpaca fibre. Doesn't smell too woolly. I'm thinking of dyeing it.
Maybe you want to sneeze.
And I've already tried drafting it. It is extremely soft, and as a newbie spinner, I think I'm going to mix it with some of my, I've got some platinum, which is merino nylon fibre, but I've also
it's really soft, it's lovely.
Yeah, I've got some Exmoor as well, but I think I'm going to dye it, because although it's natural, I think I'd like a bit of colour in it. But also, I've been doing some weaving. Please check out Sophie's Instagram. She's called Wallflower Weavings, and she does the art weaving where you on a loom, wall hangings. She does it on an embroidery hoop where you string it, and then you it's got all the fibre pulled through. It's really lovely. I'll put the details down here in the show notes, but you need to check her out, Sophie. I bought her kit off her, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be using that for that. If you follow me on Instagram a few weeks ago, you'd have seen my progress. And then, I mean, that was £5, which I thought was really good value, wasn't it? Really, really good. And then, again, for the weaving and for the hoop weaving, I bought some Valet locks.
And I'm sure that's those cute little sheep.
Well, she said a sheep costs £2,000.
I think it is those. They've got little black faces and really curly hair.
But here's
very cute.
Some locks, which will be, you could use at the bottom of a hoop, hanging to add a bit of texture, or you could pull it through. So that's my acquisitions. And I've got some of my own yarn with me. Obviously, I haven't bought it, which is going to be for a shawl. Angie my sister has a beautiful Paint My Fade shawl. And these are on my merino summer base, which is merino and linen.
You could use more than 3 colours if you wanted to, because you could make it as big as you like.
Yeah, we watched a podcast Fruity Knitting podcast the other day, and there was a lady on there who's doing about mild knitting, which was really, really interesting. So check out the latest podcast. So I think I might either do some marling. I'm thinking actually a penguano would look nice in the Marina summer.
Yeah.
For the summer, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot of people have asked me why I called it summer. It's Norwegian or Swedish for summer, and this is ideal not only for summer knits, but ladies of a certain age who have the old hot flushes. It's ideal for a jumper, in the winter as well. So it's summer, and that's just a Norwegian or Nordic word for summer. This is Lulu. This is Victoriana, and this is Chintz.
I love that Victoriana colour.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Oh, I would say that, I dyed it. My shop, there's nothing in my shop at the moment because I've come away and I needed a complete break, and I will be restocking it on Monday. The way I'm going to do it is everything in the shop will be dyed to order, which means it will be dyed next week and will be shipped on Friday. And then I've got some other things that I need to be putting in the shop. I've got some Eleanor bouncy sock sets. I've got some Rose Garden blush and Pembley Garden yarn packs, some grab bags. But I'm going to go back to work on Monday and slowly get back put in the shop on Monday. So that's not really an acquisition, but what I bought with me. Okay, I think that's it for
knitting.
We're going to go on to some sewing and handcrafts now, which is something else that I absolutely love. And it, like I said, my knitting mojo really hasn't been there. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, after being surrounded by yarn during the day, I want to come home and pick up something else. And about nearly 2 years ago, I discovered Nicki Franklin from the Stitchery, and I went on her retreat last year, which was absolutely fabulous. And we had 2 workshops. Now, being a monogamous knitter, I'm also like that with all my other projects. And she runs a monthly subscription, and I did last year's, which was the sampler. So you end up, I don't think I've got a picture of it, but I'll show you next time when I'm at home, of an alphabet sampler. And Nicki's aesthetic is my aesthetic. As soon as I saw her work, I knew that I loved it. And I was completely new to embroidery, although we do cross-stitch, don't we? So I'm, that was a bit of experience. But I've never done satin stitch, I've never done fly stitch or anything like that. But she does these little kits. And I signed up for the monthly subscription. Didn't sign up for this year's because I wanted to clear what I got really behind on my sampler. And then I went on the retreat and I had 2 other things to work on, which I'm really pleased to say I have finished while we've been here.
It's beautiful.
So I'm just going to share those with you now. The first one was a gingerbread cushion. So all Nicki's kits, you get everything in the kit apart from the needle and the hoop. She's very generous. On the sampler last year, she did, every month we got little bits of extras. But this was the gingerbread cushion that I made and I have finished. And we all did different patterns. And what Nicki encouraged us to do is to make it our own. So, for instance, on this house, there, I've put some tiles, but other people might not have put tiles on there. But also, it was my first time using fabric paint, which was a bit scary, but I really, really enjoyed this, and especially adding, I'm just going to show you.
Is it waterproof?
Well, what Nicki says is, if you're going to wash it, you have to use fabric paint.
Right.
If you're not, and it's not going to be sat on and everything, you could use watercolour paint. So some of this is watercolour. But at a brocante I went to just recently, I picked up these little bronze stars, sequins. So I've popped those on the house, and like the heart is created using 2 lazy daisy stitches. you've got couching, you've got split stitch.
They really look like gingerbread houses.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
She encourages. I don't know if you can see. I've used some paint on the top to make it look like soft snow, but she encourages you on this. It can have wonky stitches. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't. Yeah. It should look like if you've iced a gingerbread. You know, it's not going to be perfection. So then it comes with, her mum came to the retreat and the Americans call it serging.
Overlock.
We call it overlocking. Overlocked all the edges, and I've got 2 pieces to put on the back as an envelope back. But I'm actually thinking of getting that pom-pom.
Oh yeah, that
little
cool.
snowballs
that
in
really
white.
Cool.
And doing a pom-pom edge on it. So that's
you can get that in Jill's.
Can you get that in Jill's?
Yeah, get it in Jill's.
That's our local
sewing room.
Sewing shop. So I'm really, really pleased with it. Really, really chuffed with it. And Nicki's a great, great teacher. And then the other workshop we had while we were down there, and I have never, ever, ever heard of this before, was a snippet roll workshop. And I'll pop the details down of the lady if I can find it. So we got this kit and it came all bound up in antique linen. I'm just unwinding it here. And Nicki runs a workshop, obviously not now at the moment because of COVID. So you get this bobbin with some lace. You get a strip of antique linen, and then you get given vintage fabric, lace, thread, paper, and you make it your own. So we had to draw using a Frixion pen, this down here, and then we embroidered pine needles on. And then there were certain patterns, and I just decided I would do my angel, my star, that is in antique lace, that is in paper. And then I embroidered silver wings, bit of lace skirt, drew all the lettering on with Frixion, because then you just put a hairdryer on and it gets rid of it. And then
does it just disappear?
Yeah, but they do say that if it gets cold again, it might appear again.
Oh, right, okay.
And then those little sequin stars you saw on my gingerbread, I'm going to be popping on my little this.
Cute.
And then it hangs on the wall, which will be in my studio. And I'm not sure why it's called a snippet roll. I think it's because it's literally got snippets. I'm just going to wind it up. And then I just embroidered running stitch stars. Love this. Just got to press that up. A little padded Swedish heart. Another star. And then I added 2 love notes. Love notes? Where did that come from? What?
What are you on about?
French knots.
Oh!
To a star. And then I think this one at the end, and I really wish I'd put it at the top now because I absolutely love it, is a vintage square. Oh my gosh, Vic. And then this little stamp thing came with it, and then I've just attached it with French knots.
Beautiful.
So that's my third, the second. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? How much wine have I had?
And then your third.
And then my third.
There's more.
This is my embroidery notion bag that I made myself. Antique linen with a mistletoe stamp. Shut up. So one of the kits that we got with the sampler, 1 month, very generously by Nicki, was a needle case. And I didn't do anything with it because it was just the sampler I had to finish. But I brought it with me and I finished that while I was out here.
It's so cute.
Isn't it cute? I don't think my cow parsley... I think my cow parsley looking a bit like a hydrangea. Using French knots and back stitches. You get everything in there. And then I've just running stitched or stitched with running stitch, back stitch, the felt.
It's lovely.
And then just whip stitch the 2 bits of Sorry, I've got a message coming up. And then whip stitched the 2 pieces together and then just tied it. Really, because I actually didn't have a needle case for my embroidery. So I'm really, really happy with that. And then that's my FOs for handcrafts. Angela?
Over to me. So I don't do embroidery. I do cross stitch, but I haven't got anything on the go. Although I have been looking for a cross stitch pattern that I did a long, long time ago.
What, you're looking for it in your house, or?
No, I'm trying to look for it again because obviously I lost it. So I'd like to do it again. So anyway. And I noticed on Instagram there's a lot of people doing English piecework. Now, Vykky has done that before. I've always looked at it as being a little bit fiddly. Because I machine quilt, to be honest, I couldn't understand why anybody would want to hand sew and do a hand sew quilt. But because we were coming away, we knew the boys would be fishing.
All about the boys.
Golfing. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to have structured days where we would focus on certain things, like having like Vykky going off and reading a book for a couple of hours. But also we wanted to be able to do things together. So I decided...
On this lovely big island that we've got in the kitchen.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I really wanted to have a go at English piecing. Now, I watched Jules of So Sweet Violet, and I know that she does kits. Anyway, I looked at her Etsy shop, she didn't have any, so I messaged her just to see if she had any coming out. And at the moment, she's got other work on, so she won't be doing kits. So
I think she's in full-blown advent, isn't she?
Yeah, so I decided that I'd have a browse on Etsy. And I just came across this lady's page, and it was the fabric and the colours that just shot out at me. And I was thinking...
Is that the one that I recommended on Knit and Natter?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay.
So I was like, I really, really love that. I think I'm going to have a go. And thankfully, everything's cut out. Because that's the one thing that I was worried about, was how do you make sure that every angle is the same, trying to cut a hexagon out, etc., etc. So Coco and Flora is the shop on Etsy, and she does the most beautiful little kits. And you can get all different types of fabric. So you can have the brights, you can have the darks.
She does Tilda, doesn't she?
She does Tilda.
I got the Tilda one.
Because I'm doing my bags, I'm trying to do some bags that are like one of a kind. So I want to put a lot of effort into that, designing the bag, but I also want to have a feature of the bag that there'll only be one. Once that bag's made, I'm never going to do it again. I might make the same shape bag, but the way that I want this to work is that I want it to be one of, and that's it. And you get 40 hexagons, 40 papers. I think it was about 14 or 15 pounds.
It's good.
I bought the glue pen,
glue stick,
which is a sew line off Amazon, and it comes. It's blue, but you can't see it. It doesn't stain the fabric, and it comes with a refill. I bought some milliner needles. I didn't realise there were different size needles, so I'm using a number 5, which I think is fine.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
And what I did is then watch Jules' tutorial. She's got a really good tutorial. She does this little thing where you pick up and you're trying to sew them together. She does something. She wraps the cotton around the needle and pulls it through. And what that does is it causes like a little ridge on the wrong side, but you can hardly see the stitches on the other side. It's a bit like a blanket stitch, but it's not like a big blanket stitch.
Yeah.
But when I saw these colours...
Have we said about our colours, how different we are?
No, not
really. Was that on the last podcast?
Yeah, we said that on the last one. So Vykky loves... Muted. Vintage. Romantic.
Pale.
No, pastel colours.
Pastel.
I think I was a hippie in another life because
I still think you're a hippie.
Could be. lost my train of thought then. Okay, right. So I love bright colours. So, and I tend to be drawn even to knitting patterns. It's the colour that will shoot out at me. And I just think, wow, that is amazing. And as soon as I saw these fabrics, I was sold. So you get 40 little hexagons. I'm going the wrong way, aren't I?
Yeah.
Hello. So you get 40 hexagons.
That sounds so cute.
And it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I've got an idea how I'm going to put it all together. And I do think it's going to look rather cute. I did say to my husband that maybe I'll just keep it, which did not go down very well. Anyway, so I'm going to reinforce the back with a really good stabiliser. First couple I put together was a little bit fiddly, I'm not going to lie.
He did about 3 or 4 and said, I don't think this is for me.
And I wasn't sure, but Vykky was in serious, head down.
Embroidery mode,
doing twirly, wiggly things.
French knot.
And we were having we had nice soft music on and we were chilling, so I thought I better not speak anymore.
What's her name? Cara Emerald.
Cara Emerald, yeah.
Yeah.
So on the back, this is what I'm talking about. So on the back, you get like this little line. But then on the front, you can't see the stitches. You can hardly see them.
Oh, I love this one. That's me in a hexagon.
That's my favourite one.
Yeah, that's so you. That reminds me of the dress we had when we were little.
I'm now in full mode thinking, because I've nearly finished this, I actually might buy the machine.
Is it the Cricot?
It's called a stick style.
Isn't it a CRICUT?
I'm not sure, they've got them in Hobbycraft, but they cut the hexagons, they cut the papers, and you can get different dies that cut different shapes. So my mind's gone into overdrive because I'm thinking of all these lovely bag panels that I can make. Yeah, that's it.
So that's your sewing whip and
acquisitions, dream knits.
No, I've got a sewing FO.
Oh, she has.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So if you've been following me on Instagram, I have...
Oh, Vykky, that's beautiful.
For about the 14th time we've done this. So I have, in COVID, maybe put on a few pounds. And I refuse to buy any new clothes because I've put on about, let's call it 7. It might be 10.
You got somebody else's ass in your jeans.
Yes. When I put my jeans in, I thought somebody else was in there with me. But anyway, I've decided to use some of my patterns, and I love this style of dress. And I saw it on, I've been to Merchant and Mills once actually, but I've bought quite a few of their patterns. So I bought the Ellis and Hattie pattern, and I've put it on my Instagram a few weekends ago because I wanted something to come up and wear, to wear when I was up here crafting and everything. And with the Ellis and Hattie pattern, you get 2 dresses. The Hattie is sleeveless, drop waist, lined bodice, no sleeves, I've said that, haven't I? Patch pockets. The Ellis is what I call traditional, so it's waisted, sleeved, gathered.
It's absolutely stunning.
Side pockets. I've done it in the Merchant and Mills fabric. I can't remember the name of it.
It's linen.
It's linen, it's pink. They do it in mustard and teal.
They do beautiful colours.
Yeah. We're going to go there a week on Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah.
2 weeks on Saturday. I did the facing in Liberty because, and it says to interface it, but I've never ever interfaced my linings because I think that's what the facing, lined the facing, because that's what it's there for. So I use Liberty because I love this print. It was a rouleau buttonhole where you make the tube, put the needle in, pull it out. I just finger pressed it, cut the strip out, finger pressed it in half. So like a bias tape,
Like a bias tape I did.
attached on the back. Angie's got an overlocker or a serger, but what I did is I actually zigzagged all the edges. I made a toile, so I did a practice run in some gingham fabric in the Hattie, because we're a size 14 to 16 depending on the style. So if it's for shoulders, it's 14 to 16. Bust is usually a 14. And I did the Hattie. The neck,
we're bigger on the top than we are on the bottom.
Yeah. The seam allowance for
statuesque.
Shield Maiden, Amazonian. The seam allowances on all merchant mills are 1.5 centimetres. Now, because we quilt, we always do a 1/4 inch on anything that we make. Yeah. So that was quite something I had to get used to. And when I did the toile in the gingham, I've really chopped it about now, because I suddenly realised they do 1 centimetre for the neck, and it was too high. We used to do a lot of athletics and swimming when we were younger, and it was just too high. So what I did is the only modification is I just did 1.5 centimetres seam allowance, and that sits really lovely. It's
It's
got neck darts, but they're more like pin tucks, we said, didn't we?
Yeah, it's just a feature. I don't think it's actually drawing any of the fabric in. No. I don't think it would make that much of a difference.
But don't think that you could not do this.
Yeah, you've got to do
You've got to do it, because the facing won't fit.
Yeah.
It's not lined. The Hattie is lined. The dart, when you think of a dart, I always think of 1950s, Barbarella boobs.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's actually a really,
I think it draws into it.
Yeah.
So it shows you that you've got a waist.
Yeah. It
gives you a waisty shape, sort of.
No, it doesn't bring you in. It just, I don't know what it does. It doesn't, to me, it just gives it a nice fit, but it's still.
Yeah, but I think it's like that 3D. It's like, because you're seeing it from the front, so it looks like, because there's a dart, it looks like there's a waist there.
Yeah, but
it's beautiful.
I did it in a 16, and I followed all the seam allowances that they said, apart from the neck, so 1.5. Really easy, the gathers. Sleeves are really easy to fit. There's no, the only thing I would say to do, and I didn't do it because I like to think I'm so experienced, I was like, I don't need to do that. They tell you to stay stitch over the top of the sleeve, which brings it in a little bit. I didn't, and I ended it up with like a little bump. I would definitely do that. So basically, don't do what I do. Do as they say.
Follow the pattern. I did the hem, and it is such a lovely. It's beautiful.
I really love it.
And I think you could wear that. You could make that into. You could use a nice corduroy for the winter.
Yeah.
Denim.
Yeah. I mean, I've got like my H&M Doc Marten.
Look lovely in a Liberty. So I'm wearing that to my son's birthday party. Dinner. And then the other thing I made, and I brought it with me, is also Merchant Mills. This does need an iron, so please forgive me. Is they do a trapeze dress, which is the most flattering dress I have ever, it is beautiful.
You could use this pattern if you were going to a wedding and get some silk. You could use it for jersey. So this is the trapeze pattern. Sorry, it really does need an iron. This is a 14, and
it's really flattering.
Really flattering. Comes out in as in a trapezium, and doesn't take very long at all. But the pattern, you can make a dress. You can do the same dress with pull over the head with sleeves. You can do it with buttons down the back. I would recommend, and this is Liberty. My husband bought me some Liberty last year, and I made it into this top. I did a different colour for the lining. I've been wearing it in the heat with my shorts. Dress it up, dress it down, absolutely brilliant. So I'm really into my sewing at the moment. Like,
it's really cool.
But
cool.
Angie and I were talking because in my craft room I don't have anywhere to cut out. So we're thinking that when we do the dresses, we'll go down to the studio and use the stainless steel tables. So yeah, we haven't got any acquisitions for sewing, but we are going to be going down to Merchant and Mills. I have to say, shopping in this COVID, I've been to IKEA. We went to Dunnett the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, I haven't done any.
I did. I do not enjoy shopping with a mask on.
I'm finding it with the mask on and wearing glasses. I get a few like claustrophobic moments.
Yeah.
Where I find then I have to take my glasses off. And I don't have to wear my glasses all the time, but I've got weird eyesight in that I need glasses for reading, but I need glasses for distance.
Yeah.
And it's my middle vision that's okay. So I used to have 2 pairs of glasses.
But they're varifocals, aren't they?
But these are varifocals, and now I've got used to them. And to be honest, I don't know I'm wearing them half the time.
But do you notice it when you take them off?
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't read anything. And that's the thing. When I go into a shop, like when we went into the shop in Dunnett, I wanted to read something, but I couldn't because I just felt like I was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Because my glasses were steaming up, even though I've tried all these different hacks, nothing's working. I don't know whether I'm just using the wrong type of mask.
What did that person say the other day? Wash it in fairy liquid.
She said wash my glasses in line my glasses in fairy liquid, which I can't see how that would work. But anyway,
I never heard that.
And the steaming up, and then I take my glasses off, and I'm fine walking around with the mask on, but then I can't read anything.
Yeah.
So I've just been doing a lot of online shopping.
I've done a lot of online shopping. Like I say, talking about
supporting businesses.
Yeah,
You know, little businesses that are trying to, and that's the other thing. Like, it's like with my bags.
Let's talk about shop.
I'm buying my material from Etsy sellers.
Yeah.
You know.
So Angie runs her shop, The Urban Stitcher. I've got the details here.
Yeah.
New venture for you.
It is a
going
new venture.
Really well.
Going very well.
You didn't show your bag on this one.
I don't have this one in the shop, but I have got some to make up.
So this is very appropriate because where we're staying is in the north of Scotland, and when we arrived, the field outside has got 4 Highland cows who are just Angie's favourite animal.
I want one. I want to call it Hamish. I would want to rent a field, and I want to get as a calf, and then he can just grow old.
Yeah, they've got their calves with them.
Him.
So we don't have any Scottish names for them. We're just calling them
No,
Hamish.
they're girls, and they've got 4 babies. But
Yeah.
I think one is a little boy. I'm calling him Hamish anyway, and I go out every morning and I'm saying hello.
So you haven't got any of these in the shop?
I haven't got any in the shop yet, but I do have some to make up.
Okay. Show.
But it's a zipper.
How cute.
Cute.
Healing cute.
Healing cute.
Apologies to any Scottish people watching. If you've got the
these
accents
will be made up this month. There'll only be a few, and I've actually made them. So you've got the handle. Whoops, got the handle. And then because of when we go to shows and suitcases and airports, I've got the slide through for it to sit on top of the suitcase.
Brilliant.
And then I've only got 2. I think I've only got a couple left of these ones now. I found this beautiful fabric, and I managed to get.
Is it Voyage fabric?
I'm not sure. It's from Etsy. Can't remember the lady now. In fact, I think it's a man that sells this.
Beautiful.
But it's linen. It's just a little tote bag. Drawstring. I put it down as a medium. I mean, I've had 4 skeins in there and the project, and it's big enough. But I've had a lot of ladies buy them because they want to use them actually as just a tote bag. And then if they do put a knitting project in, it drawstrings into a pouch. No pockets on the outside, but it's got 6 on the inside. And I used a plain fabric because if anybody else is like me, stitch markers are very hard to find when they fall off with dark fabric.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of other bags still in the shop. The shop is open, but nothing's going to be shipped until Monday.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
And that's it. But I've got some really good well, I think they're good. I've got some ideas.
You're going to do Christmas bags?
I am going to do some Christmas bags. I'm not sure whether they're
Halloween?
Might do some Halloween, because I'm trying to do small batches of individual. So I try to pick, for instance, a merchant that's on Etsy, and buy and support them.
Yeah.
So I buy a metre of fabric or 2 metres of fabric, and then deciding on the bags if I'm doing sock sacks. So I think that's it, love.
Yeah. Quickly about Wiggly.
Oh yeah,
Dye Studio.
sorry.
No, you're fine. Next week, obviously, I'm coming back. I'm going to load everything in the shop. It will all be dyed up next week and be shipped by Friday. I think I've already said that. There's some other stuff to go in. And then I'm going to be working on Halloween sock sets based on Practical Magic. There's a little witch in all of us.
Practical Magic.
There'll be a colourway to reflect Sally, and there'll be a colourway to reflect Gillian with little stitch markers. And then I'm going to be shipping all the American orders for Hibernation Christmas sock set. I've seen the sock pattern that Jules has created for the Hibernation box, and it is absolutely stunning. I'm really, really happy with it. So thank you, Jules. So if you are an overseas customer, especially America, they're putting our prices up again for postage. I don't know if it's on Trump's end or our end. And obviously I've already charged for the postage, so I need to get those out before September. And then all UK orders for Hibernation, Christmas and New Year's Eve will be sent out in October. I have loved doing every bit of it. I will be releasing another sock set. I've got the stitch markers, and I'm going to be releasing a Christmas mini Skein set. So what I want to do is I want to clear the decks. I want to get those boxed up. Everything's ready. Hibernation, New Year's Eve and Christmas, it all just needs to box up. Angie's going to come and give me a hand. And but yeah, so from now on, everything's going to be in the shop as available. It's going to be dyed to order, because I'm going to be working on new colourways. But when I say dye to order, it's not a 5 to 6 week wait. Next week, if it's ordered, it will be dyed Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it literally dries overnight, so it'll be shipped the following week, the same week. So yeah, that's my shop news. I'm really excited. I feel recharged, refreshed, and
we didn't talk about the podcast that we just discovered.
Oh yeah, we've discovered a few new podcasts. Angie's discovered them. They're by men, which is really refreshing. And
really good.
Bearded Pearl, I would definitely recommend them. Sweet Tea No Shade, Drowning in Yarn, and Cabin Boy Knits.
Brilliant.
What I'd like to say about podcasts is, if you've enjoyed this today, please like and subscribe, because it gets our podcast out there. Angie and I plan to do more of these.
We will.
So yeah, we'll be doing more podcasts, because it's nice to do it and bounce off each other. And I'm going to be hopefully doing a live question and answer session from the studio. I'd like to do that every Friday. And talk about what I've done that week and show you what I've made and what's available. And yeah, so I think that's it. This is our second time of recording it, so I'm going to edit this now and hopefully get it up before the end of the day. And I just hope that you've enjoyed spending some time with us in the Highlands of Scotland. We're loving each other's company.
Yeah, it's great.
We're very lucky that as sisters we share the same interests, and we will see you soon.
Bye.